What is up? I'm Evan Vance. I scaled my social media marketing agency for real estate agents to consistent 60, 70K months while looking like I'm 16. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to start your own SMMA completely from scratch for $0 without wasting any time on things that you really just don't need to do. I'm just here in Florida right now walking around, but yeah. Okay, first let's talk about the base units of an SMMA and what exactly it is. So an SMMA, social media marketing agency. So it's an agency. So essentially what an agency is, well, at least a social media marketing agency, is where you do either organic or paid marketing for clients and in exchange for money. Organic marketing is doing something like posting YouTube videos like this, posting on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, anything like that, posting content online in order to build an audience and attract clients, customers, that kind of thing. That's organic. Paid is pretty simple, which is using paid ads in order to acquire clients for these people. Facebook ads, YouTube ads, Google ads, this kind of thing. Although Facebook, YouTube, these are more social media platforms than Google. And then agency, meaning you hire workers to perform a task for you, and you're making a profit on the difference between the amount you're charging and the amount you're paying your contractors to perform the service. I personally do Facebook and YouTube ads for real estate agents. That's my social media marketing agency service. Now you can offer other services, but generally speaking, you just need one core service to start. So that's the first thing that you need, which is a core service. One thing that's interesting, a lot of people look at SMMA, they hear social media marketing agency, they overlook the idea of having an agency altogether. So there are all sorts of types of agencies you can run. You can run a recruitment agency or a staffing agency, some people will call them, where you hire people for companies and they'll pay very good money for you to do that. You can have automation agencies where you're setting up workflows and using different types of software in order to automate systems and processes for companies. There's so many different kinds of agencies, so you're not just limited to social media marketing. SMMA is very popular, and that's where people talk about all of this, and some people will refer to it as drop servicing, which is more of like just a broad agency thing. Now, the second thing you need once you have a core service that you're going to sell, you need to identify who you're going to sell it to, who you're targeting, what your niche is, however you want to say it. You can get incredibly specific. People talk about niches. I like to talk about sub-niches, which are small, not necessarily small, but they're subsections of niches or subsections of markets where there's a very specific type of person who's looking to solve a slightly more specific problem, or they're looking to have a broad problem solved in a slightly more specific way. This is where you can be more specialized, you can differentiate yourself, and you don't have to worry nearly as much about saturation, especially if you're doing social media marketing. So that's something worth paying attention to, but some niche examples are real estate agents, dentists, chiropractors, general contractors. And a sub-niche of roofers would be roofers who make over X amount of dollars. Now, market size does play into this. You can have a very small market. You can have a market size of 30, 50,000 people and make so much money. You don't need to have a market size that is millions and millions of people. So that's something worth paying attention to as well. Now, once you've decided on your core service and who you're going to target or who you're going to sell to, you now need to price your service. There's a broad spectrum of how you can price your services. One way of looking at it, or one good way of looking at it and deciding in the beginning, is you can look at a bunch of your competitors, your direct competitors, and you can see what their pricing is, and that'll give you a general basis, a general idea of what your pricing can be, should be, or that you can get away with. It'll just guide you in roughly the right direction. I don't know what that sound is. Now from here, the fourth thing you need is a way to generate leads. A lead being defined as somebody's name, email, and phone number who has indicated interest in what you're going to sell. So if you download a list of emails and names for, let's say, roofers, and you're going to cold email them, I personally would not consider that a lead. I would consider that just a list of names and emails. To me, a lead is somebody who has indicated interest. Some people have differing views to this, but for the sake of this video and for the sake of this example, I consider a lead to be somebody who has indicated some level of interest in what you're going to offer, who has responded to an ad, who has responded to a cold email, who has indicated that they're interested via a cold call, something like this. Usually people will start with cold DMs on Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook. Some people will start with cold email. That's personally where I started out. And some people will do paid ads, although those cost money, and you need to be more skilled, and you're just risking more in general. Now, the fifth thing you'll need is a calling script to book your leads into appointments on a consistent basis. Now, this is where you start to develop your sales skills and your appointment setting skills. That's what, kind of like a sub skill of sales is appointment setting. That's something you need to get really, really good at. Once you get good at getting people to, obviously respond to your cold emails, show interest on cold calls, whatever the case may be. Sorry if you can hear some bugs in the background. I'm just sitting outside right now. I'm in Florida at the moment. We're here for a month. The lighting inside just wasn't very nice, and you can kind of see it's getting darker as I speak. So you can take your sales calls on Zoom, or you can take them over the phone. It really doesn't matter. If you don't want to pay for a Zoom subscription for the calls longer than 40 minutes, then that's totally fine. You can just use your phone for phone sales, but then from there, what you need is a sales pitch. And you obviously also need a sales script. Well, I say obviously, but you also need a sales script in order to reliably convert these people who show up to sales calls into paying clients. A client is not a client until they have officially paid you. So when somebody says, yeah, let's do it, and they haven't pulled out their card on the call, I would recommend getting payment on the call. If they haven't done it on the call, they're not a client yet, you will get head faked. And then number 7 is you need to learn to either provide a service, or you can provide a service that you already know how to provide, or you need to hire a contractor, and you need to learn how to hire a contractor and have them do it for you. A simple little thing you can do here is go onto websites like Upwork, or go into agency Facebook groups and say, hey, I'm looking for a contractor that does X. Do you know anybody, or does anybody here know anybody? And that can guide you in the right direction as well. The truth, I haven't talked about websites, I haven't talked about logos, I haven't talked about any of this stuff. You don't need a website, you don't need a logo. All you need is a first name and a phone number to call people, to talk to people. You literally do not need a website, you don't need a company, you don't need any of this crazy stuff. That just adds friction to you getting started. Whenever I had a company and everything like that in the beginning, but I would call people and say, hey, this is Evan Vance. I wasn't calling people saying, hey, this is whatever company, right? In the beginning, it's a very strong point to just start using your name, because it's more personal on the calls. It's a lot less of, hey, I'm calling you from a company and trying to sell you something. People think that it's more professional to say that you're calling from a company, but actually it can have quite the opposite effect in the beginning from what you're going for. And people like working with the individual who owns the company or who is the company. So that's a little hack. Yeah, so building websites, logos, spending all your time on that, common waste of time for beginners. If you want to just get up and running fast, start sending messages now. You send one message, you have officially started. So there's no need to dance around, waste too much time or anything like that. Common beginner mistake. Click the playlist that's popping up on screen now to go watch a bunch of my other SMMA related videos if you're getting into the agency space, and I will see you there.